In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use OpenCode as a complete beginner, step by step. We'll break everything down into simple, easy-to-follow steps so you can build apps, generate code, modify projects, and work with AI coding models without needing advanced programming experience. Here's what you can expect from this video. First, we'll install OpenCode, launch it inside VS Code, and get familiar with the basic setup process. Next, we'll select AI models, configure reasoning levels, and understand the difference between build and plan agents. Then, we'll create our first project, generate code from a prompt, and learn how to refine apps through simple instructions. After that, we'll manage sessions, connect external AI providers, and unlock access to more powerful coding models. And finally, we'll work with screenshots, make visual changes to apps, use undo and redo features, and explore practical workflows for everyday development. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. The first thing you'll need to do is install OpenCode on your computer. I'm using Visual Studio Code for this tutorial, but the process is very similar regardless of your setup. Start by opening VS Code. At the top of the window, click Terminal and then select New Terminal. This will open a terminal window where we'll install OpenCode. If you want a cleaner workspace, you can drag the terminal into the editor area so it's easier to see while working. Next, open your browser and visit the OpenCode website. Once you're on the homepage, click the download button in the top right corner. You'll see installation instructions for different operating systems. If you're using macOS, simply copy the installation command provided. If you're using Windows, you'll typically install OpenCode through npm. Before running the command, make sure Node.js is installed on your computer. After a few moments, OpenCode will be installed on your machine. To launch OpenCode, simply type OpenCode and press Enter. With that done, OpenCode is now running and ready to use. Now let's look at one of the most important features, choosing an AI model. Inside OpenCode, type Models and press Enter. This opens the model selection menu. Here you'll see several available AI models. Use your arrow keys to move through the list and select the model you want. After choosing a model, OpenCode will ask you to select a reasoning level. You'll usually see options such as low, medium, high, and max. The reasoning level determines how much thinking effort the AI puts into solving your request. Lower levels respond faster but may provide simpler solutions. Higher levels usually generate better results because the model spends more time analyzing the problem. For important coding tasks, higher max reasoning often produces the best outcomes. Just remember that increased reasoning can be slower and may consume more usage depending on your provider. Once you've selected your model and reasoning level, you're ready to start coding. Next, let's understand agents. Type agents and press Enter. You'll typically see two options, build and plan. The build agent focuses on writing code and making changes directly to your project. This is the mode you'll use most of the time. The plan agent works differently. Instead of immediately writing code, it first creates a detailed plan for the task you're trying to accomplish. A good workflow is to start with plan, review the proposed approach, and then switch to build once you're satisfied with the plan. You can switch agents through the menu or simply press Tab on your keyboard to move between them quickly. Now let's build our first project. We'll create a simple workout timer application. Switch to the plan agent and describe what you want to build. For example, you can ask OpenCode to create a one-page HTML workout timer with work sessions and break periods. The plan agent may ask follow-up questions. Answer them as clearly as possible. For example, you might specify that you want short breaks, long breaks, customizable durations, and simple controls. Once OpenCode finishes creating the plan, review everything carefully. Look through the proposed features, structure, and functionality to make sure it matches what you want. If the plan looks good, switch to the build agent. Now simply tell OpenCode to proceed. The AI will begin generating the code automatically. Depending on the complexity of the project, this may take a few moments. Once the generation is complete, OpenCode will create the necessary files for your application. In this example, it generates an HTML file containing the workout timer. Open the file in your browser and test it. Try starting the timer. Pause it. Resume it. Reset it. Make sure everything works correctly. One of the biggest advantages of OpenCode is that you can improve your application simply by describing changes in plain English. For example, Suppose the settings section appears directly on the page, but you'd rather have it displayed in a pop-up window. Simply return to OpenCode and type, "Make the settings a pop-up." Within moments, OpenCode updates the code and applies the change. Refresh your application and test the result. Now let's say you notice the pop-up doesn't have save and cancel buttons. Instead of editing the code manually, just tell OpenCode exactly what you want. For example, add save and cancel buttons to the settings pop-up. The AI updates the application again. After refreshing the page, you'll see the new buttons added automatically. This conversational workflow is one of the reasons many developers enjoy using OpenCode. Rather than spending time searching through files, you simply describe the change you want and let the AI handle the implementation. Let's continue refining the application. You can simply type, "Move the settings button to the bottom center." OpenCode updates the project and adjusts the layout. Maybe you want a lighter appearance for the application. Again, describe the change. Change the color theme to a light theme using white and pastel colors. OpenCode updates the styling and transforms the appearance of the application. This process of generating, testing, refining, and improving continues until you're satisfied with the final result. As you work on larger projects, you'll likely create multiple conversations. To start a completely fresh conversation, type "New" and press Enter. This creates a new session where you can begin working on a different project without affecting your current discussion. If you ever want to revisit an older conversation, type "Sessions" and press Enter. You'll see a list of previous sessions that you can reopen at any time. This makes it easy to manage multiple projects without losing your progress. Now let's talk about providers. By default, OpenCode includes several free models that you can use immediately. However, free models often have limitations. They may be slower, less capable, or not as current as premium alternatives. To connect an external provider, type "Connect" and press Enter. You'll see a list of supported providers. Choose the provider you want to use. Many developers connect services that offer access to more advanced AI models. Once connected, you'll be able to use those models directly inside OpenCode. The setup process is usually straightforward. After selecting a provider, OpenCode will request an API key. Open your provider's dashboard, generate an API key, copy it, and paste it into OpenCode. Once the connection is complete, you'll gain access to additional AI models that may provide better coding assistance, stronger reasoning, and improved performance. Now let's explore one of OpenCode's most interesting features: image support. Imagine you're looking at your application and want to remove a logo or piece of text from the interface. Instead of describing the location manually, you can simply take a screenshot. Capture the relevant area of your application and paste the image directly into OpenCode. Then type something like, "Remove this from my app." OpenCode analyzes the screenshot, understands what you're referring to, and updates the code accordingly. This makes visual modifications much easier because the AI can see exactly what you're talking about. You can use screenshots for layout changes, styling adjustments, UI improvements, and many other visual tasks. Finally, let's look at undo and redo functionality. Suppose you ask OpenCode to add a dark and light theme toggle button. The AI creates the feature successfully. However, after testing it, you decide you don't want the change after all. Instead of manually removing the code, simply type "Undo" and press Enter. OpenCode rolls back the previous change. If you later change your mind and want the feature back, type "Redo" and press Enter. The change is restored automatically. This makes experimentation much safer because you can quickly reverse modifications without worrying about breaking your project. And that's the basics of using OpenCode. Once you get comfortable with these core features, you'll be able to build websites, applications, tools, and software projects much faster while letting AI handle a large portion of the repetitive coding work. And that's how to use OpenCode as a complete beginner. That's it for this video. Thanks.